Quote from Antonio Gramsci crosses my mind daily. The old world is dying. The new world struggles to be born. Now is the time of monsters.
Trump is the new Adolf.
Before we get into today's episode, I want to thank all the new people here. Thank you for subscribing. If it's your first time here and you like this video, make sure you subscribe. Give it a thumbs up. Keep us in that good algorithm. I also want to do a quick shout out to all our members. Thank you for helping to support this channel. Now let's get into it. Yesterday, all the Trump apologists came out to clarify his comment on saying there'd be a bloodbath if he didn't win. They gave the talking points to the propaganda parrots, and they filled it up over and over on Twitter. He was taken out of context. And honestly, they're not fooling anyone because these are the same context police that'll tell you on J6, Trump came out and said, everybody go home. What they don't tell you is the context of it. It was 8 hours later. And I'll be right there with you because you don't take anything back without force. No, that context is not provided. So let's indulge for a minute, right? Let's play their little context game. First and foremost, Trump couldn't see the teleprompter, which explains why his core values and really his mental illness started to shine through.
Under Biden, the cost of rent is up 30%. Groceries are up 30%.
Oh, man.
Everything is up.
Why would
Chicken's
Biden do
up.
this?
Bread is up. And I can't read this damn teleprompter.
He can't even list off stuff that's expensive without a teleprompter. Teleprompter Donnie here. Poor guy. I can't read the teleprompter.
This sucker is moving around.
Why does that? He chant USA? Because he has no memory anymore? Okay. The bar is low.
It's like reading a moving flag at a 35-mile-an-hour wind. And then they say Trump's a bad guy because I'll say this. Don't pay the teleprompter company. Don't pay. Don't pay. And then he'll
Solid.
say, Trump didn't pay me.
Never
They'll say,
changed,
Trump's
Trump.
a horrible human being.
Never changed.
They gave me a pile of crap that this is the craziest thing. And
All I see is
look
the
at
pile
all the
of crap behind
television
you,
I
my
have
guy.
up there. I got all the television, and they won't say that. They'll say, Trump made a speech. It wasn't so good.
Because he's a
It
victim,
wasn't
right?
so good. You know,
Persecution complex. So we got that out of the way. Teleprompter wasn't working. And it's also why the crowd was already filing out while he was still talking, why they were already leaving. Fat Elvis, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the horribly and unfairly treated January 6th
Context.
hostages.
He's saluting the January 6th insurrectionists. I mean, he even called them insurrectionists at this point. We're not even mincing words at this point. He's saluting them. The people they said were Antifa, undercover FBI, and now I guess they're political prisoners. This man wouldn't go outside because it was raining to show support for the veterans because he didn't want to ruin his hair. He's standing up there saluting insurrectionists. That's them singing in the background. Context.
you know, we play the song, you know, that Hold
When
On,
there's no
I'm Coming.
teleprompter, this is what you
Do
get.
we like it?
So he's back at this.
Who liked the Rolling? Okay, you had the Rolling Stone
After
Stone
saluting
song, which we liked. That was
the
for first.
insurrectionists.
You know that song, right?
We're on to
You
what
can't
song he
always
comes out to.
get what you want, which made no sense, you know. But it was a good song, right? It made no sense. You can't always get. They asked me. I say no. They're talking about
People
the
wait in line for
Democrats. I
this.
said the Democrats can't always get what they want. So that way, I at least
Good
saved
one.
it. But it was a good song. Or the Sam and Dave. Who likes the second better? Hold On, I'm Coming. Yes.
Context.
You like it better? Do you like it better? Yeah, both good. The other does bring back some good memories, in all fairness. And no
How many of
wonder,
you
it's
tuned
really
out
no
right
wonder
now?
that Joe Biden and his thugs are so desperate to stop us, they only know.
Thugs.
And you remember this, we're the only ones, and they know this, that can stop them. We're the only ones. There's nobody else around. If this election isn't won, I'm not sure that you'll ever have another election in this country.
You
Does
hear
that
what he
make
said?
sense? I don't think you're going to have another election in this country. If we don't win this election, I don't think you.
Context. In the spirit of context, I showed you a minute of drivel that led into him saying, if I'm not elected, we're not going to have a country anymore. I don't think this little meme took that into context. Where's the little cameraman on that one? Because he's not talking about the auto industry right here. And the truth is, this is what a party completely devoid of an ideology, completely devoid of ideas. Not even ideology. They have no ideas. They have no idea how to govern. This is what they are reduced to. Last time they had a platform was 2016. And even then, their platform was what? Tax breaks for the top 1%? Good job. So when the teleprompter is broken, all you're left with is discussing what songs he comes out to, peppered with what can only be described as, I don't know what, like Comic-Con for dress up, and you listen to this, you go get your hat signed.
Years, and if you call them people, I don't know if you call them people. In some cases, they're not people, in my opinion, but I'm not allowed to say that because the radical left says that's a terrible thing to say.
The radical left.
They say you have to vote against him because did you hear what he said about humanity? I've seen the humanity, and these are bad, these are animals, okay? And we have to stop it.
Immigrants are animals. They're not humans. This is all the same speech. Context. He's running for the exact same party that just last month in Alabama said that eggs were humans now, right? He's running for the exact same party that in Missouri, a pregnant wife can't leave her abusive husband. She can't get a divorce from him if she's pregnant. But he's out here telling you that people that are fleeing their country, trying to escape violence, trying to escape death, trying to escape rape. I mean, Katie, whatever, went off about that girl she met. She didn't even ask her about how she was a sexual slave down in Mexico. And the crazy thing is, the ideology is so void of any rational thoughts that it didn't cross her mind once that the girl she was bringing up, Katie Britt, the girl she exploited, could have been saved if she was let into this country, if she was allowed asylum. So 1 week you weaponize the stories of these immigrants, these desperate, desperate people. And the next week, they're not even human. They're animals. Context.
Of the Biden administration, we begin the largest domestic deportation operation in American history, larger than that by far of Dwight Eisenhower. You know, Eisenhower had a similar problem, but peanuts by comparison. It's like
penis. I mean, look at the lady with the sunglasses behind him, clapping away. Biggest smile on her face. When fascism comes to America, it will be draped in the flag and it will be holding a cross. Truer words were never spoken. She got up in the morning, she put on her American flag coat, she drove over here just so she could clap, so she could cheer on mass camps, mass deportations in the United States of America, the same country that has the Statue of Liberty. And she wears an American flag while doing it. You think this lady understands context? So I feel like we've level set the context of what this speech in Ohio was about, what the themes were, and what the message was. So I think we've jumped that bar. So now let's watch the Bloodbath comment in its entire context, from even a Fox News source.
Put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole, that's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it. But they're not going to sell those cars. They're building massive factories. A friend of mine, all he does is build.
You hear that? He says it twice. Let's just add up what we've heard. If he's not elected, it's the last presidential election we'll have. Immigrants aren't humans. And now he says the least of our problems. Either words mean something or they don't, right? He says the least of our problems is a bloodbath with the auto industry. Big boy went to the best colleges there are, right? I mean, sure, he was a C- student, but there's no other word he could have found. No other word floating around that orange noggin of his than bloodbath. In context of what the rest of the speech entailed. In context that he's off teleprompter. In context of this is how he views the world. These are the words he thinks about. And I just want you to keep this in mind when the chuds are out there partaking in their persecution fetish. This idea that a guy who has 91 indictments against him, a guy who's been found guilty of rape by a jury, a guy who defrauded New York out of $500 million, a guy who all the way back in the 80s and 90s wouldn't rent to black families and would evict them from his properties. They want you to believe that all of that is just taken out of context, not in the spirit of what he was trying to do. And then they'll come to this channel in the comments and demand that we take them seriously. We take them at their word. When all they are, all they're ever gonna be, are propaganda parrots. If you like this episode, make sure you give it an upvote. If you're new here, go ahead and hit subscribe. If you've been here a while, you want to support the channel more, you can become a member. It highlights you when we do lives. They're kind of fun. I see your comments. They're big and bright. You get some member benefits. You can watch some of the older episodes with Chad in them. I don't know if that's a benefit. It's not a good way to sell it. But anyway, it's another way to support this channel if you like content like this. The Chud Report.
And you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole, that's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it. But they're not going to sell those cars. They're building massive factories. A friend of mine